the audience guess what we were just talking about?
No. Yes. I guarantee you can't.
Welcome back to the Breakroom, New Rockstars live show, coming at you direct from our actual break room here at New Rockstars headquarters. We're thrilled to have you. We hope you're thriving and alive and out there. And we've got a great panel here to talk about the nerdy news of the day. We're going to get into the future of the DCEU, some Fantastic Four maybe news, and we're going to sneak some snacks into the movie theater. But to do that with me, I'm Zach Huddleston, and I've got my esteemed panel here of we got Brandon Barrick.
Yeah, if the police are watching, I've never snuck anything into a movie theater.
Okay, I don't
you
know.
go to jail for sneaking in snacks.
If you're a cop and you're watching, you have to put.
Yeah, you have to say.
I am a cop.
Yeah. Are there any cops in chat?
You have to put ACAB in the chat.
No, the statute of limitations on Raisinets is like
thank goodness.
20 years.
By the time they melt, it's already over.
We got the wonderful Jessica Clemons here.
I have never snuck any kind of snack into a movie theater, but I do torrent everything.
Pays for the snacks.
Yeah, the
gets
snacks
movie
are
later.
already.
You wouldn't download a bag of popcorn, would you?
Yeah.
And then we're thrilled to welcome.
I brought a friend.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Philip.
Sorry, I'll take it because he's my friend.
I'll take credit. I see the chat's excited.
Yeah. We can't call out that the chat's excited for you.
Oh no, I meant that we were all talking about stealing popcorn.
okay.
About me.
Coy Gendro, our good friend. I discovered him. Yeah.
Apparently, I was plucked from
I get
obscurity.
10% of everything he does. I made this guy. I watched a lot of Real Rejects content that he kept appearing on, and then I see this guy everywhere.
Yeah.
And here's my favorite thing about him: he knows his S. He knows his S.
We haven't gotten there yet, so we got to say the yes.
The reverse
Gotta
swear
say the
jar
yes.
has not been
Yes,
activated yet.
yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Thank you, Coy, for joining us.
So excited to be here. man.
Also, we were joking. When Tommy Bechtold's not here, it takes an army to replace him. Really,
Truly.
we probably need 4 or 5 more people to bring the amount of energy. But I have full faith that Philip and Coy are better than equipped to replace this and Tommy.
And to be clear, I am Philip Molina.
Yes. Yes. You did a good job of introducing other people.
And real quick, I'll say for movie theater crimes, I absolutely dated someone for a long time for only the free movies.
Can I say I've been on the other side of that? I worked in the theater for 6 years and definitely was dated for a long time for free movies. I've experienced it.
All of this, and someone could have just torrented the
Here we are. All right.
Stephanie AMC, your first girlfriend.
What would Nicole Kidman feel about all this?
Heartbreak feels a little better in a place like
Yes. And Whoppers just taste better in a place like this. Let's get into, as Philip mentioned, today we have a redemption for Super Chats. We appreciate everybody in the chat right now, everybody who's throwing us a couple shekels, a couple doubloons, including Jeff Borst. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. He got in there early. Thank you, Jeff. But if we hit a multiple of $100, that unlocks our swear jar. We are not allowed to curse otherwise. Philip already edited himself really well.
Beautiful.
Said that Coy knew his S. But
Oh, you guys thought I was going to say a curse word.
yes.
Stuff.
You were going to say
Now,
stuff.
now I'll never tell you what I was
You were going to say cinema?
Scientology.
Okay. But if we hit that, it unlocks the swear jar. And when that thing unlocks, it's like Pandora's box. The profanity that spews forth is pretty wild.
Again, a lot of these things on the show get run by me. This is not what I approve.
That's right.
But fine.
No. This thing, it was a seed planted, and it grew out funky.
No one approved it. It happened.
Yeah. It got wet, and then this happened.
Yeah, the show has become sentient. And this is what's
we
going
fed
on.
it after midnight, and now we've got a swear jar. But let's get into our headlines. Graphic. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Someone in the graphic.
Yeah.
It doesn't show up unless you.
Some people are watching this show in 3D.
Yeah, exactly.
2 people still have 3D
Yeah.
TVs.
Or put
Brandon
on your
is such
glasses.
a little weirdo. You can't even see it. We can't see it. The cameraman, our best friend Dashiell's in front of it for us.
Thanks, Dashiell.
Best friend Dashiell. So the headlines of the day, it's a little bit of a lighter news day, but we've got some interesting conversation starters. So there's been a lot of speculation. Warner Media, owner of Warner Brothers, HBO, among other things, and Discovery, owner of a lot of other cable networks and whatever.
I used to work there.
Oh, yeah. They're merging, actually.
Thanks for adding.
Discovery.
So I'll weigh in as appropriate.
Okay, yeah.
As an insider.
When we talk about Subway restaurants, I'm gonna
Once we
check
get
that
to
out.
Jamba
Ready?
Juice, I can't wait to tell you what we make.
Showcase Cinema's Insight. After ready, we got this, guys.
Close
I'm coming to
personal
play
friend
later.
of David Zaslav, Philip Molina.
I'm a Zaslover.
They're merging. And so, one of the kind of key properties of Warner Brothers is the DC EU, DC HBO Max properties, CW shows, all that kind of stuff falls under there. There's been a lot of speculation, especially about the DC EU. We know we got a Shazam coming. We know we got a Flash coming. We know we got an Aquaman 2 coming. We don't know much else. We don't know about the direction that that's going. We don't know about plans beyond these 3 movies. And there was kind of a rumor that sprung up in the last 24, 48 hours that Joker director Todd Phillips might be having a bigger influence on the future of the DCEU than was previously speculated. His name has not been floated around much. In fact, a lot of people thought he's just going to do this one-off Joker movie. It's not even connected to the rest of the DCEU. But supposedly he might be a part of this kind of long-term planning.
See, that's the reason why I don't know why he would be made as acting advisor when it's this is the guy that made a Joker film we're not really
Consciously
mixing.
not
yeah.
involved.
Not involved
The
at
whole
all.
point is the separateness. That's why it thrives. So
It's like asking the people from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, advise for us just because it's a good film. So I'm so confused on why
But these
they
are
do
the
it.
exact same people who, when Nolan made his films, and then they were like, "Well, we'll make our own," and they were like, "Wait, never mind. You are
come
really
back.
good at
We
this."
liked
Come
this.
back,
Yeah, and so Todd Phillips, it's like an Oscar somehow was born out of
Right.
what we made. Please stick
and
around.
a lot of money.
But I think
A
that
lot
the
of money.
strength of that film was the counter programming. So I don't think you can counter programming. Once a punk band sells a certain amount of albums, are they still punk? Is there a certain amount of what your expectations for furthering that story even are, and how do you extrapolate that from being an indie film, broad strokes?
Yes.
The DC universe is inherently shiny. The reason this was special is that it wasn't. So I don't think you can make a fully gritty universe because at the end of the day, you're just a hot topic. You can't live there.
But why a gritty universe and not just auteurs doing their one shots?
I think that's an option. I think the strength of DC is that. I just don't know if they're going to let themselves do that when they're calling it They've been fighting to be the DCEU for 10 years. If they had just gone, okay, we're going to make these things separate, we would have had a thriving Aquaman, a thriving Wonder Woman, but they kept, in my opinion, trying to put it together, separate it. So if you get Zack Snyder to make a universe and then stop it halfway, you're going to have a problem. If you get Todd Phillips to make a universe and stop it halfway,
Yeah, that's
so
right.
you
Don't
need
make a universe.
Yeah.
Make 10.
Make
Yeah,
10
and
movies.
maybe that's the Todd Phillips influence, right? Maybe he's not telling him to build to a new Justice League or something like that with all these interconnected films. Maybe he's let all these things thrive on.
Watch him still do it.
Because Booster looks great, right?
Yeah.
We've seen a couple images, and the things they've let be their own thing. I think one of the greatest things about Shazam is it felt like its own thing.
Yes.
I liked that the voice of Batman wasn't Ben Affleck, personally. I liked that the Cavill moment wasn't necessarily a Cavill moment. So I think the strength of DC is actually being a counter-programming to Marvel. And I think the strength of the DC Comics is, while right now it is currently Batman heavy, those books, you don't have to read every one of those books in order to get any of those books. And the movies haven't committed to that yet. If Todd Phillips did it, yes, but will they?
Here's a bet. Find me, and Zach will shave his head if I'm wrong.
Sorry, Zach.
Todd Phillips is at least going to advise on a future Gotham by Gaslight movie.
Ooh, I love that idea.
That's the exact kind of place I think these things are headed, right? Where it's no, we're so not connected. It's not even in our time period.
Go back in time.
It's there's not. What is Batman without electronics?
DC Black Label. In the comics right now, my favorite line is DC Black Label because it is an adult. It's they're actually shaped differently. The books themselves are a prestige format, so you can't mix them up with other comic books. So they come out more rarely. If you did a DC Black Label line of movies and had R-rated films that live intentionally separately,
and get Oscars.
Beautiful.
then you have a universe that is strong.
And that's why I'd shave your head. That's the bet I'd put on.
Sorry, Zach.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Zach.
dude. We got to do it. We got to do it.
I like
It's
it
the
we
only way.
chose Zach and not the luscious branded
Yeah,
hair.
no, the only way this can happen. I saw 14 million things. All of them have Zach's head shape.
Zach's-
By far the worst haircut at the table. I'll happily take that bet. Also, I will take that bet because I think you're wrong, and I think this rumor is going to turn out to be false.
Well, because he's got more to the story.
I think you're right. I think this rumor is going to turn out to be not that big a deal. I don't doubt if Todd Phillips never makes another film for DC, never touches even Joker again, and instead, Matt Reeves becomes
Yes.
the new.
love
That's what it feels like is happening.
I would choose Matt Reeves over. No, I'm not disagreeing. I choose Matt Reeves over.
Look, Todd Phillips would choose Matt Reeves over Todd Phillips. Like,
Todd Phillips has so much money because of the Hangover movies.
Yeah.
So
and Project X, and Project, like he produces very well, which is why this rumor I took as like a second grain of salt, just because he is a very astute producer. Like he works with Joel Silver a lot, who's a genius and gave us the '90s. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's the right man for this job. If he's the right man for a job. Whereas Matt Reeves, he's already built out in one movie 5 villains, a universe, a texture, a tone, an entirely new thing, and he's got 2 shows that theoretically might have merged into one, but that'll all correlate. And I think that he inherently knows that Batman and Superman don't work narratively together, so he wouldn't be as inclined to try to make this thing that is Superman punching a guy in a tin suit.
Right. You're making the argument that Todd Phillips is not going to be the Russo brothers. He's going to be Kevin Feige. And then he brings in Matt Reeves.
Conceptually, if they so choose to go a way that they want an overseer, I think Todd Phillips would do it in the way you're describing with Gotham by Gaslight and those things. But I think that would look different than what people are assuming a coherent direction is.
100%. And I think we'll see. Maybe in the next year we'll get a picture of what 2023 and beyond looks like for DC.
I hope in the next year we'll know what 2023 looks like.
Maybe in the next 8 months.
By March 2023, we'll understand 2023. Yeah.
We were joking around today that last month Marvel, Kevin Feige's like, we've planned out the next 10 years. And today DC's like, someone's going to direct something.
What else?
Today
What
DC's literally saying, well, we know we're not recasting Flash.
Yeah,
That's all
I'll
they
tell
know.
you that
That movie
right
that's
this
already
second.
shot, we know we're not going to change that. That's as far ahead as they can look. Speaking of DC properties.
We are still in headlines. There has not been a different graphic.
Technically we're at headline.
Okay,
But moving on to other DC news, the directors of the upcoming HBO Max Batgirl film, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. I apologize if I butchered those names, both of you. But they confirmed that Michael Keaton will be in that film as Batman.
Yep.
We all are silent.
I feel like Michael Keaton is just showing up on sets. They give him a script and he's like, "Oh, I'm
going to improv. I'm going to improv this. I'm
Yeah.
not going to read it.
I'll bet Zach's hair that he's not in that movie for more than 5 minutes.
And it's just him saying, I want to form a team. I bet it has something to do with that.
Batman. No, I'm Batman.
With Robin or something.
We gotta get this Wonder Woman.
I love Michael Keaton, and I love Michael Keaton's Batman.
We all do.
But why is our first footage from The Flash him saying a line that he said to the Joker in improv? Why is the first thing we hear from Batman a line that only makes sense in the context of the Joker? He's like, you want to get crazy? That doesn't even make sense as it's not a catchphrase. Why are you using that again? And now they're putting it in the HBO Max show, putting him as a correlative thing to tie this universe together. It doesn't even.
I love it.
It doesn't make sense.
I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I wouldn't put any money into it. But it's
George
just so
Clooney
chaotic.
in there. Bring back George Clooney.
Just go crazy with it if you're gonna make it that crazy.
I love right now the feeling of not just being a nerd, but a pop culture fan, because it's like when we were little and there were the very clear action heroes, right? It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis, whatever, and we were like, imagine if they teamed up one day, and we were like movie studios, and then the Expendables kind of thing happened, right? That's all that's happening right now. It's like, what if Michael Keaton came back, and also Darth Vader is gonna have another fight with Obi-Wan, every single thing.
It's because we're the suits now. The problem is we
the
grew
suits.
up and now we're like,
Yeah.
what if I did dump out
We
my
are the
toys in
suits,
another sandbox?
And those actors need money.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
The money's great.
I mean, what's the catchphrase we're trying to work into the break room every day? Every time an MCU actor's like, I'd happily appear in 12 more of these films and series, right? They keep getting checks. Awards.
What they called it, thirsty actor. What was it?
The thirsty actor
Thirsty
award.
thespian.
Thirsty thespian.
Also, going back to our childhoods, can you imagine a day when we don't yet have the Amalgam universe, but we do have 2 universes where Michael Keaton is gathering people? We've got him gathering the Sinister Six, we've got him gathering Batmans, and yet we might somehow, through people consuming each other, have Michael Keaton play the 2 people that can cause Amalgam. The guy from our childhood is the guy that's both connecting these universes.
Which is why
separately.
it's also so cool
It's
at the same time.
Because he was in Multiplicity, so there's multiple.
Right, yeah.
We need the photocopy of a photocopy Keaton to get in there.
These are all this is the Multiplicity verse, where all of them have branched out.
Speaking of multiplicity, I don't think there's a direct connection here. That was a transition.
It is a normal word you can just be using.
Yeah, great. Speaking of films, actually this is not a film either, but we got a quote. John Watts, helmer of the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man films, was quoted. He's producing this upcoming Star Wars series, Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law and some children. And he was quoted, it was an Instagram post by Christian Harloff. He said it had a Clone Wars feel to it. We have no idea what that means.
You just talked to Christian.
I literally was with
Harloff
Christian on the way
just now. And what does this mean?
What does it mean?
So basically, what I gathered was they want that kind of prequel but rapid pace. Like, I think the prequels are, love them or hate them, they have a slower pace than a lot of the other Star Wars things with, you know, the politics and those things.
Yeah.
I think what they're saying is they want to make sure the prequel fans feel happy, but they want that Amblin clip. And I think that's what like John Watts was kind of describing with those things. So that's what I gather from this. I think it's a pacing thing, but I could totally be wrong.
When he's saying Clone Wars, he means the films more than the animated show.
I think he means the animated show, but like that show like moved, but was still a
The fact that
prequel
there's
flavor.
a lot of there's action and a lot of time passage. that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
but like it moves. But then again, we didn't direct. I just think it's very funny that we were filming a rewatch thing. We're watching all the Toy Stories. But I will ask the man.
We were guessing that he was just like had to think of something.
Yeah, Clone Wars.
He looked, there was a Clone Wars poster right behind him.
It's like Tatooine feel to it.
Well, it's
It has
also,
Jedi.
I'm gonna assume, I think this is a good faith assumption. This is a direct insult to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
What's going on?
He's not referencing any of the live action Star
Right.
Wars series. He's going, actually, it wouldn't be an insult to Dave Filoni, just to Jon Favreau, right?
If you're wrong, you'll shave your head.
Fair.
If you're right, maybe
Fair.
shave your head.
And you know what? Can't shave a head twice. Or I mean,
so you can't unring a bell.
easily
that's right.
can. You
Can't put
gotta
that
put
toothpaste
some
back in
Give
the
it a week,
tube.
and shave your head again.
Don't have you shave, we'll never go back.
That's right. And then, you know, we have so much release news far ahead of time. We already know when films are coming out in 2023. We got kind of a surprise release news just today that Multiverse of Madness is going to be dropping on Disney Plus June 22nd.
3 weeks.
Crazy.
In 3 weeks from now, it's going to be on there. It's still the number 2, number 3
And they
movie
didn't
at the
say
box
anything
office.
about like streaming or like digital downloads or the physical copies. They're just like, oh, we're gonna put it on Disney Plus.
I think this is the beginning of a new streaming wars because we had that phase 1 streaming wars pre-pandemic, and it was like, all right, everyone talk about your slates change. And then the pandemic happened, everybody's like, what if all of our movies are now on the thing? And now we're getting into an age where we're in this conversation of movies are gonna be a hybrid thing, and I think we're gonna see a lot of companies go, yeah, we're going to release this early here. We won't actually talk about any other format of release. You need to be on these things to be exclusive and have that, especially with Marvel
true.
having the TV and film stuff. But I think we're going to, over the next 2 years, see a lot of people fighting to get distribution rights early. Like, I think it's going to be like the 90s when VHS was kind of like fading into DVD, and a lot of people were like, oh, but 6 months earlier on I think we're going to see that with streaming.
I think the streaming mafia is in play here. Because HBO Max just threw out like Secrets of Dumbledore
Yeah.
the other day
it
out of
was
nowhere.
quick. It was
I think they
quick.
see Netflix on the ropes and they're like,
That's what I'm saying. We're going to see
get 'em.
people like rope it
Body
open.
blows. Body
Oh,
blows.
yeah, we've got an
Especially-
$800 million movie
Yeah,
on ours.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, we
exactly.
got, like, I think we're going to see that now.
Well, what you were just touching on, I'll just pretend is my point. The
Yes.
created him.
800, yeah, I
Discovered
discovered him.
it.
Yeah.
Discovered, same thing.
Anyway, $800 million movie, right? Not accurate, but like these insane budgets at the same exact time that Netflix just it kind of leaked. We're not going to spend a lot of money on our movies.
We're going
Well,
reality
and
now.
I also think this dovetails with the conversation we're going to have later. This also speaks to the weakness of movie theaters. The only thing that was holding this back pre-pandemic from studios being able to do this is because movie theaters would get pissed at them because they have a guaranteed window
Right.
of however many weeks that you're not going to release your film in any other format. But the movie theaters are just struggling to stay alive right now.
Excuse me, this is Top Gun on the phone.
Oh, yeah,
I'd like to have a word
I
with
was
you.
going to say, we're going to
Tom
have...
Cruise has shot Marvel down.
He has
baby.
saved cinema again.
And you know the only guy
movies
that
are
can do
back.
it? The 60-year-old actor.
That's
you
right,
know?
the boomers
From
are
our
going back.
childhood.
But I do think there's going to be a wave of people. The exhibition world isn't dead yet. And I do think there's going to be a conversation where we need the theatrical window because of the Netflix conversation. I think Netflix putting up that white flag shows that we need movies that are going to make money. Scorsese can't make this stuff anymore over there. It's not going to be put on HBO. You need that theatrical window for older people and theater lovers to actually get the movie to make some money. I think you need both.
Those aren't going anywhere. And you know, Scorsese has made theatrical films his whole career. I think like it just the power and influence of theaters
Is
over the
changing.
industry, right, is like dramatically. And in fact, right, there's some. This is a conversation for another day, but like there's all these moves behind the scenes to get rid of the monopoly restrictions on studios being able to own theaters.
I think
right?
that's what's next.
Netflix already owns theaters. Like that could be another branch. I don't think movie theaters are going to go away, but our interaction with them will certainly dramatically change over time.
Well,
right?
speaking of Scorsese's next film, The search for the Fantastic Four director.
There it is.
continues.
That's a transition right there.
Clearly.
That's a transition.
That's a segue right there for you, okay? Justin Kroll, Deadline senior film reporter, stated in tweets that Marvel doesn't expect the role to be filled anytime soon, which is insane. This movie's supposed to come out in 2023. I would bet Zach's hair that it doesn't come out in 2023 now.
We need to stop.
No, his hair's going away.
Well, by this point, we're not betting the hair on my head.
I mean,
Out.
do you guys think that this movie's going to get delayed? They have not even picked a director, and as far as we know, they've cast one
Well,
person.
they could also
maybe.
they could, you know how Disney loves to do like those the family holiday like releases, so
Right.
it could come out in
Like
December of
December?
2023.
There's
That's
also
more than
the who directs all of Tom Cruise's movies except for Tom
Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah, Christopher
Tom
McQuarrie
Cruise?
shoots like 70% of those movies
Right.
before the script is not even locked,
Well,
before there's dialogue.
That's
in
why
a lot of these things.
I'm sure everyone really hates him.
Well,
on
so I
set.
thought that, and I was like, especially like as a writer, I'm like, how dare you think that you can? And then I watched the movie, I'm like, the movie's good.
This is
I bet
awesome.
it is
Good.
good.
Well, we know Marvel does that too with like previs and stuff.
I was gonna
say, it
the
might be
director
more
shows up
done.
and they're like, "Here's your third act. We've already started doing the."
We've done the previs.
Like,
Like, We're going to put face on that.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Elizabeth Olsen saying, "I've never met this man," about John.
I mean, what's interesting about Fantastic Four is they don't have masks, so you can't really like start doing a lot. Maybe the Thing you could start working
I
on.
also imagine Mr. Fantastic's already got a lot of
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
You've already got
They're just
like,
gonna cut the head out and put it on.
Well,
that. I mean,
and
it's probably true.
we are under the assumption that this is true. We don't know. Maybe there
That's
is a
true.
director hired. Maybe there is casting already done, and the super airtight ship of Marvel, right, has had no leaks up until.
No, but they delay all the time.
They're looking at a lot of big name directors for this movie. Supposedly, that's what these tweets were about. There's rumors that they're looking for like another Oscar winner. You know, Chloe Zhao, Oscar winner. Though she was brought in before she won her Oscar, like won it in the process of that movie coming out. A lot of fans have talked about Brad Bird, who directed The Incredibles, a great, almost like a pseudo Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
pretty much. He's done a couple live action movies. He did a Mission Impossible.
And it was good.
Yeah.
Ghost
Yeah.
Protocol.
Which one?
Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
Fourth one.
I don't.
He did that one. He did another movie recently. It escapes.
Tomorrowland
that's right.
with George Clooney.
A much maligned movie that a lot of Disney fans like myself wish were much better and wish had
God,
really
okay, we
been
get
embraced
it.
by the parks. Let's talk about Tomorrowland, guys.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be fun? No.
No, who should direct it?
Well, here's who I think should direct the next Fantastic Four
Ooh,
movie.
okay.
Okay. This is a wild one. I'm gonna give you a wild pick. He's a guy. He'd fallen out of my director graces for a little while, but he really came back last year with a great movie.
Is this person problematic?
No, I hope not.
He is a guy.
He's a classic. Talking about a childhood. Let Steven Spielberg come in and do a Marvel movie. I thought
Would he
West
ever?
Side Story was great. I think Minority Report is a great movie.
Of
Report
course
is a
it is.
very great
Of course
movie.
it is. War of the
What's
Worlds
Everything,
was great. Yeah.
War of the Worlds is great. Everything else in the middle.
But what does he
was a
have to?
mess.
What does he have to gain from this?
He loves. He's
having fun.
I think doing
West
a
Side Story
fun
is
new
fun.
action movie
For
might
him.
be a lot of, and a movie about family. He loves movies about families.
And a dad that is problematic. And a West Side Story had the scale.
Right.
For a musical, like wasn't even.
Here's the problem. I mean, it'd be a dope movie. Don't get me wrong, and I love Steven Spielberg. Like, to be able to fit within the Marvel machine, he would have to give up so much of the autonomy and the creative freedom that he gets to enjoy on equally big budget
Post
Ready
Sam
Player
Raimi,
Ones or
that's a big
whatever.
part of the conversation.
Sam
Sam
Raimi
Raimi's in the
is
conversation.
way lower on the director
But Feige
totem
was
pole,
saying-
especially right
Right.
now than
Feige
Spielberg.
was saying he enjoyed that, like he
Yeah,
kind of
that-
let Sam Raimi do this movie and
okay.
have 2 seconds to himself, and he's got 1,000 questions to answer every day. Stop bugging me! He's shouting that from his office. Leave me alone! Yeah, but let a big name come in and just kind of handle it.
Okay, so
I think.
Well, sorry, real quick, let's do this for everybody's a little bit. So it's Spielberg's movie. When does it take place?
I like that story that was kind of going around that's going to be set in the past a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
So set it in the 60s. And
That was
let
the
it
John
be-
Watts rumor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let it be this like separate story. Let him handle it. And the end of it is very Captain America, where they jump to the future somehow.
Right.
And
But
have a
it's
game.
a family movie.
It's a family. It's about this family trying to like keep themselves together, even though cosmic rays have torn them apart.
Gotcha.
And the Thing's mad because he can't walk down the street. He can't date anymore. He's got to date a
Yeah.
blind lady.
Yeah, and then what is there? Just the shot of like there's a lot of big problems in the background. I'm just thinking of that classic Spielberg shot of like one little thing and then there's a bunch of them.
Right.
That happens.
Neutrons.
That's the
It's just
climax.
neutrons.
Yeah.
Neutrons are everywhere.
There you go. Jessica, who are you gonna say?
Gonna make this quick. I think it should be Spike Lee, and I think it should be
Oh.
placed in friggin' the Prohibition times. We gotta go. We do have to speed this up a little bit because we have 3 other segments that we haven't finished headlines.
Speed round. Okay, I want to do it set in the 60s and it gets to now, but that's by way of it being in the Quantumania world where we saw that little city that we've teased for a lot. I would have the main villain be a nihilist because that would tie into the negative zone. I would make the negative zone the quantum realm. That way you save time as far as continuity and you actually catch up to the MCU. And I would use a nihilist as a way to have a villain that is very streamlined, very simple, he wants to consume. And then you set up Dr. Doom through Wakanda. And that way you got the political aspect of, you know, you put him there and you have him looming, you have the Emperor Palpatine. You get a one-off villain, so you introduce the family, you can actually have time with all 4 of them. You don't have to lean on the Dr. Doom, which is very important. He's the 5th lead. I would have, this is the one thing you prepped me for, so I over-prepped. I got 4 different directors I would want to do.
Wait, because this is a speed zone.
This
is a speed round, right?
Speed round. And I have a full 20-minute pitch in this, The Real Rejects. We did a whole thing where I did Koi's Comic Corner. My debut episode was about the Fantastic Four pitch. But my 4 directors that I would want to have are either the Daniels, who just did Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I think they would understand the wonkiness of that Kirby-esque flavor, that crazy OG Stan Lee in the 60s. I think they could get the side that would make it unique from other team books. I would then say my second pick would be Soderbergh because he handles teams really well. He invests you in characters. We haven't seen Soderbergh do anything big in a while. I think it'd be fun to see an auteur director who just handled Kimmy, really great indie film. I'd like to see him come back to a big pizzazz Brad Pitt spectacular. My weirdest pick is George Clooney himself. We mentioned George Clooney. Yeah. I think he's a great director for Americana, and I think that Marvel's First Family would be interesting to leave into a less toxic Americana and have like the Leatherheads feel, the Conventions of a Dangerous Mind feel, do all those things. And then my weirdest of all picks, they get progressively weirder, Wes Anderson. A very symmetrical
Dashiell, you
Fantastic Four. I want a very symmetrical, but I could see us having a movie that feels like you're reading a Mike Allred comic. It feels like you're reading a very specific, separate from the rest of the MCU on purpose, much like Sam Raimi. If Kevin Feige wants that, those are my 4.
Beauty.
Good answer. We'll skip Phil because he gave 4.
Pass.
He discovered me. Those are his ideas.
Those are
5 words, or I haven't counted the number of
Shave
words.
his head.
Justice for Edgar Wright.
Oh,
let's go. Bring it back.
Justice.
Bring it back.
I'll one-up you. It's Matthew Vaughn. It's Matthew Vaughn. It's Kingsman meets X-Men First Class. 60s. It's a non-cheesy. It's set in the 60s. It's non-cheesy Fantastic Four, but also still like classic at the same time. That's what I was like. Fuck. Farters.
Why do we all want the 60s? Why can't it be set in modern day? What's our problem with that?
I think the 60s is, I think time periods and movies are just beautiful.
Yeah.
Freaking the chess one. The chess one.
Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit.
Searching for Bobby Fischer.
That's right.
That's a chess movie.
That's right.
Queen's Gambit. I think getting that feel and seeing like the art they can make and with that budget, just like making their house, making the clothes, doing all that stuff is just beautiful.
Well, it's also
Baxter Building 60s.
It's also much less complicated because we got a lot going on in modern MCU.
Where have you been?
This entire conversation spurred by no news about Fantastic Four. Just wait till we get actual news. Imagine how much left to say. But speaking of news, the news about nutrition, guys, is that Athletic Greens is great. We want to thank our friends at Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's show. I've got a bottle here of AG1, the signature Athletic Greens product that we've been sipping all week. Tommy Bechtold, not here right now, but also a big fan of Athletic Greens. It's got like 71 vitamins and minerals in there. The nice thing about Athletic Greens, and we're about to transition into talking about movie theater snacks, okay? Let's say your summer diet consists mostly of popcorn, Dr. Pepper, and Raisinets, okay? That's a delicious diet. But that's maybe not covering all the things that your body needs to thrive and stay alive, right? And that's where Athletic Greens comes in. It's like a little nutritional insurance. You know, if you've got a spoonful of this stuff in a glass of cold water in the morning, you're okay for the rest of the day, whether you hit your salads and your asparagus or not.
And probiotics are in there, right? Which are not in any of those things you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Keep that gut health. It also has some cool stuff that even helps you like be a little sharper, right? Which we could all use regardless of the season. So we want to thank Athletic Greens. You should grab yourself some. Right now is the perfect time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Throw a scoop in there. No need for a million different pills and powders and tinctures. I love the word tincture. Isn't that a great word?
And I know it's aimed at me and my tinctures.
Yes.
Likes tinctures.
They call him Tiny Tincture back at the orphanage. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/breakroom. The link in this video description as well. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/breakroom. Take ownership over your health. Pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. We also want to take a moment to plug. We've got a nice T-shirt model here in Philip Molina, who's repping our special Obi-Wan themed latest Obsession shirt.
Oh, that's nice.
Look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you guys read Arabesh?
I do not, unfortunately.
Empire's Most Wanted.
Close. Empire's Most Hung.
Oh,
Okay, get out of
We
here.
were wondering, Philip,
Yeah.
this Obi-Wan bears a strong resemblance to you. Were you the model, the life model for this Obi-Wan?
You know what? I did not notice that, but he is mostly eyebrows and beard.
I think
Which
it was
I'd
awesome.
say, yeah.
Just buy your
Yeah.
Philip's face.
I like
He's
it.
got a little, a smaller little man in him too, just like
A
I
little
do.
man inside. We've all got a little man
We've all
inside
got
of
a
us,
child
right?
inside.
Yeah,
We got the
little
two
men in
sons of
black.
Tatooine.
Yeah.
Got some Empire ships.
Yes.
Moisture
And,
evaporators.
and there,
Beautiful.
you can get this shirt. It's a limited edition latest Obsession shirt. When you buy this, you can unlock the ability to leave a shout out that shows up on our WikiLeaks show every week. Tommy and Eric will read that out loud. It'll roll in at the bottom. That's a cool thing. We've got a bunch of other cool Obi-Wan stuff at newrockstarsmerch.com. You can grab this shirt there. I'm repping an Asgard Ale or Asgard IPA shirt that you can find that at the Epic Hero Shop. There's a whole line of like boozy superhero inspired. Instead of White Claw, there's a Wakanda Claw shirt. It's cool, guys. Take it to the pool party this year. This summer, you'll have a good time with it. But now we want to transition here. Now, normally this would be the place where we do mandatory fun. Okay, by far the most popular segment on the show, the only segment that people know by name. And we're not going to call this mandatory fun. We're going to call it Zach Snacks.
Oh, there's no graphic.
No graphic.
Automatically looked right.
No graphic.
Not only is there no graphic, but he clearly was looking for a close-up that was not given to him.
I don't know. In fact, I specifically requested. I was like, John, I know you could throw together a gorgeous graphic. Instead, I would prefer a moment of silence.
Oh, sorry. Say it one more time.
Zach Snacks. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, good.
All right, moving on.
So there were a couple news items in the last week that inspired me to talk about this. I'm a big snack head. I think my Twitter name is still Snack Huddleston. Love food, love snack talk. And one sad piece of news. Supposedly, there is worry that there's going to be a popcorn shortage this summer.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
I think this is the popcorn industry
Big
trying
popcorn.
to drive sales. Everyone's gonna start buying more popcorn
Orville
now
Red
because they're
and
like, I gotta
Bakken.
get it now.
The coast of
There's
Orville.
always gonna be plenty
Big
of popcorn.
I mean, I think there's logistics issues.
I've seen the fields of corn through Kansas,
Get out of here.
Nebraska,
No. This is his
Iowa.
stump speech.
I've gazed upon the popcorn fields.
Russell
I've touched
Crowe in
the
Gladiator, but
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
corn
like
husk.
Gladiator. Yes. There's popcorn in those fields, gentlemen. We just have to harvest it.
Speaking of popcorn, I did pop some Orville Redenbacher here in the office.
As Zach grabs stuff, I'm going to give shout outs real quick to all of the super chats we're going to get to you guys
Yes.
after Zach's snacks, and we'll answer some of your questions.
Yes, and there's some real. I'm fully triggered by Tibetan Mastiff saying keeping it 100. Morbius was better than the Batman. Wow,
We'll get to
Tibetan
that. We'll
Mastiff.
talk about Morbid.
It's morbid time indeed. So this just got me thinking in general about movie theater snacks, right? Our habits, the things we like. I got some Whoppers, some Milk Duds, and thank you, and some Raisinets. Those are three of the, I believe, the top 10 movie theater candy snacks. As released, Fandango also did a poll recently. They released a bunch of different data. They'd done all these wide-ranging polls of people's movie theater snacking habits, right? Things they preferred. They did a whole segment on the favorite candy to dump into popcorn. Does anybody hear a candy in your popcorn?
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of Crunch.
Absolutely.
Bunch of
Because
Crunch.
the texture mixes well, but it allows for like a nice weight distribution, and then you get little spikes of chocolatey goodness, but it doesn't settle too deep. These are all very heavy. You get them at the bottom of the bag. Bunch of Crunch, little float boys.
I like a peanut M&M.
Yeah.
It gets that butter on the shell. The shell keeps it intact. You don't get the chocolate on your fingers, but then the chocolate's melty inside. Then you still got a peanut, so it's healthy. You can tell your doctor, I got all the protein.
Good fats.
It's a legume.
filling.
It's
It's
delicious.
Yeah.
Throw it in the chat if you like. Let's run a poll real quick. Are you a candy and the popcorn person, or do you think that's heresy? Also, if so, tell us what kind of candy are you dumping
A lot of
in there?
M&Ms in the chat. I can
Reese's
tell
Pieces are
already.
great too. Ever since ET, Reese's Pieces and the popcorn, it's the move.
Very nice.
In the popcorn.
And the popcorn, man, a little peanut buttery goodness.
in there.
Someone said Skittles, and I don't believe
No,
it.
that is wrong.
That's a lot.
That is
Yeah,
wrong.
there
There
is
are
no
no wrong
correct
answers,
answer.
but that is.
I love a Skittle, but keep it out of my popcorn. Jessica, do you put anything in your popcorn? You seem disgusted by
I'm
this
very
when we talk about
disgusted. I'm horrified. You guys are all monsters. Yeah, they should die, and I hope they burn it.
What do you do?
I didn't even put
You
everything in
enjoy
my
popcorn, but you just eat
Do
straight
you
popcorn?
want me to be real with you?
Please.
Do you want me to be real with you?
Please.
Be real.
I usually sneak in a Panda Express Panda Bowl with double chicken.
Sneak in. What do you?
Impossible to consume that and not have everyone that is in smelling radius.
Yeah, you're like Panda Express,
knowing.
the waftiest food in the game.
It's so wafty.
Orange chicken. I knew it was orange chicken.
Also,
the
it's
back
dark,
row is like
and you're stabbing with a
slow
fork
vein.
to
Yeah.
try to
You know
get.
the usher as you're walking in, it's like, she's back.
I look him in the eyes as I eat it.
You know what
look
would
over
work
the
though? Put it in a popcorn bucket.
You're eating it by hand?
No, just like nobody's like really paying attention to what you're reaching into your
Yeah.
bucket.
Wow.
I'm tired
all
of
lo
these
mein.
I'm tired of these movie theaters selling like cheeseburgers and hot wings and
Oh,
stuff. I'm tired of
No,
that.
never.
I
It's too
love
much.
that they do
Oh,
that.
I
I
love
love
they do
that.
Thanks.
I've witnessed multiple times, Philip, go for that slice of pizza. Go for that
You
hot
know,
dog.
you know they don't have a
you
kitchen
guys-
back there.
you guys have a good one.
There's
I
no
picked-
kitchen back there.
The iPic theaters are like 5-star
Oh,
gourmet
yeah,
food,
yeah, yeah.
and then you got a reclining seat, little blanket, little pillow action, but they're chefs.
I went to
I don't
an
need
iPic.
all that.
It's a
I
little
went to an
chef.
iPic.
I bet there's a roach in that chair.
That's extra protein.
They
It's all along
serve,
the peanut.
they
I'm
serve your
not
chicken
him.
fingers with dipping sauces. It's dark. I can't tell what I'm dipping into.
That's
What are you
the
saying?
excitement.
The screen is bright. Actually, no.
It's
The
not
last
that bright.
movie, I think, no, Maverick was bright. Maverick was very
That's
bright.
because it's from the 80s.
That is
It's just
true.
moving like the 80s stayed with us. That orange glow.
I was like,
40
ooh, I
years
can
later.
see everything. What's
Because
that?
Tom Cruise is 80 and he can't see it. He's like,
Turn
Bruce, turn light
it
up.
up.
Get my
Make the
contrast
words
up.
bigger.
Tommy's
contrast.
beauty radiates into your popcorn.
That's true.
She's so stunning, it just
I
translates.
cannot get over this Panda Express thing.
I got a weirder one.
That's not
Come
like
with
a
me to the movie
sandwich.
theater,
I
baby.
love
I
it.
bring
gonna
in a,
one-up this.
I bring in a weirder thing. When I'm trying to lose weight, when I'm cutting, I like to bring in steamed artichokes. Because when you bring in an artichoke, it's like popcorn. It takes a long time to eat, and I usually dip
That
it in
smells
balsamic.
way
Oh
worse
yeah, it's
than
balsamic too.
mine.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my
but
God.
it takes you have to peel it and bite it and dip it. So it's a long journey, but that way it takes 2
I
hours.
think
You
you
don't
got hot from the house.
No, it's room temp at best.
It's
That's
lukewarm
where
at
you
that point.
steam it.
Yeah, you steam it. But
I
yeah,
love-
like a steamed artichoke, it takes 2 hours to eat, so it's
okay.
perfect for a movie.
And I will say, I love a good steamed artichoke in its proper place and time. That place and time is not during Fast 5 or Hobbs and Shaw, okay?
No, that's
So-
cookie dough. Bring a whole pound
I'll
of cookie
say-
dough to Fast 5.
Brandon put M&Ms in his popcorn and Jessica called him a monster. And then brings it Panda Express. And
I
you
don't mix it with
piss
anything.
artichoke.
I just eat it.
Yeah, it's not the issue.
Antioxidants, vitamin C and K. I'm getting healthier by the
When
Top
I-
Gun minute.
When I went and saw Blockers, I made a taco bowl, and I was
Oh
like, I was like, I'm not gonna leave this at home. I'm bringing it with me, and I put it in my Tupperware, and I brought it with me to the cinema.
Oh my God.
You're looking for an outlet for a toaster oven.
I'm like,
58% of chat says what? No, when asked if they put candy in their
Thank
popcorn.
you.
Whoa.
That's insane.
I don't put
So,
candy in my popcorn.
that is very different. The Fandango poll, I believe, had similar numbers, actually. So maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
but that
is.
was Russia. Was behind
That
that
is,
one,
yeah, and we know that they're huge Goober fans.
someone in the chat said, "Oh, geez, boy, that's wild." They put dot
Oh,
dot dot.
geez.
That's
It's
wild.
It's just a disappointed
yeah.
family out there.
What's wrong with you?
Now, does anybody else have any like interesting habits? Like off-screen producer John and I were chatting a little bit. People that like a nutritional yeast
Oh, yeah,
on the popcorn.
nooch. That's
Old
good.
Bay seasoning,
Ooh,
maybe a
interesting.
chili powder, tahini.
Yeah, I've done
Tahini's
all of
good.
those.
Tahini is spectacular.
I'll add a powder to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say during
Baby
COVID,
powder?
Top Gun.
my wife and I, we love popcorn. During COVID, we started making our own popcorn at home, and it is so much better.
You pop
than,
the
like,
corn?
You pop the corn yourself. You get a Whirly Pop. They're not sponsoring this show, but Whirly Pop is like the greatest device.
Whirly
you can
Pop,
buy for
sponsor the
your
show,
kitchen.
you
Don't with the
cowards.
smiley face.
It's got a little crank on it. You put the oil in. We use coconut oil. You put your popcorn kernels in. You spin it in 30 seconds.
too
You got
much.
popcorn.
healthy.
That's
That's
great.
so
healthy.
That's
So
way
now,
too much.
that's a
They
great.
use a little nooch, a little nutritional
That's a
yeast.
great transition because I wanted to transition. We're talking a little bit about real quick.
Movie theater.
Whoppers or Milk Duds?
Neither.
Neither.
Okay.
Whoppers.
Yeah.
Milk Duds.
Ooh, I would say Whoppers too. I like a
You
crunch.
didn't say
I like a
Raisinets.
crunch.
I would have said
I
Raisinets.
like
Raisinets.
Raisinets.
Yeah, I'll take
Whoppers
These fight more.
These were my dad's candy, and I'm not allowed to have it.
These take,
Oh,
these
Don't
take,
touch the Whoppers.
For me,
it
it's
takes
the
an
crunch.
hour to eat.
Yes,
one of
this
these.
I
is a
love
journey.
I love that. I
This
like things.
took out one of my cabinets.
Yes.
sir.
Yeah. 10 out of 10
And gave
dentists
you
don't
2 more.
recommend Milk Duds.
No, they
This is
do.
the anti-
They need
yeah,
to work.
That's a
They need to
profit
work.
margin. They invented Milk Duds.
So I wanted to transition to talking about what our binging content at home
no.
snack routine might be, because we were kind of inspired. Jessica and I both grabbed some Stranger Things branded snacks.
Not
Stranger Things
sponsored.
is
Not
out there right
sponsored.
now.
Yes.
Got some 3D Doritos, some regular Cool Ranch Doritos.
Get the ones I got. Get the
They
ones
also
I got.
have some themed Sour Patch
got
Kids. Now these are like great. You can grab these in the grocery store for your binge watching. But do you have a snack habit when you're
Yes.
watching?
I mean, we
at
make
home?
a lot of popcorn. That's
Yeah,
what I say.
you-
We're making
you
a lot
went
of
into that,
popcorn.
yeah.
Y'all know me. You know how I'm.
Same old G?
Living. No.
Unsteamed artichokes. Boiled eggs.
I eat healthy. I try to eat very
Yes.
healthy. So at the movies, the reason why Zach sees me eat these things is because like a raw hot dog is the closest thing
A
to like a healthy
$16
thing
raw hot dog.
you can have. That's my favorite move, the raw hot dog. I do have to do that there because people are there. But when I'm binging alone, and I'm in a mood where I'm gonna snack, I'm not kidding. It is bad. I will spend like $100. I will order it all from a service called GoPuff, also not sponsoring this show.
Go Puff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a weed store?
It's like a
No, it's like a
convenience
snack
store,
store. It's
delivery.
when you're smoking, it's what you use
Yeah.
after. And I will order every flavor of Ben & Jerry's ice cream in a pint together, and then I will also order every there's a lot more. Every kind of ice cream sandwich that they have, and then cones, and then tortilla chips. Oh my gosh. Like, and then I mean honestly, I just like I'm binge watching, I'm binge eating.
You
Yeah.
guys, I approve of what Philip said, but I'll give you the poor person's method. The one that's not $100
Delivery ice cream
You
cookies.
go to Taco Bell, you get the 12 party pack tacos, and you only
You go into
get
a
8.
movie theater with them.
And then you get one ticket for Maverick. That's not
Pizza's back, it's $4.99,
Yeah, it's
and then you get
$4.99.
those. They're sold out
You
right
get
now, but it's
that-
coming
that
back.
2-gallon ice cream that they had in elementary school. It's just the 3 colors.
With the
mixed
clear
together.
plastic.
So the plastic bucket.
If you're going calorie density, there's also this place called Costco, and they sell a 5-pound tub of cookie dough. And in my experience, very little tops a 5-pound cookie dough. I had a tapeworm for 7 years, taught me the power of cookie dough. Didn't know I had a tapeworm, but I learned the power of 5 pounds.
Thank you.
Sorry you guys
for
broke
your
up.
bravery of like telling us about your table.
It was terrifying. I was at
7 years?
7 years. It was 22 feet long. That's next time on New Rockstars.
Speaking of Demogorgon, yeah.
But
Also,
no,
they did not.
it made me love sugar like
I
something
am
fierce.
so shook. We need to move.
Jessica wants to switch seats.
Oh my god.
I love cookie dough more than most
22
things.
feet.
Yeah, but like my cookie dough habit is like nicotine now because I needed sugar all the time because I was feeling that thing. So I can literally house 5 pounds of cookie dough, no problem.
You were pregnant.
Yeah, no, it was steering the ship too.
What was its name?
Fred, because I wanted to kill Fred, so I called it Drop Dead Fred.
Drop dead Fred.
Jessica and I were talking, though these are all great snacks. Sour Patch Kids and Doritos are always delicious, but a little disappointing these aren't special flavors. They just put the packaging on the
Yeah,
regular.
get it a
I
name.
love it. I'm like, again, I go way back. I like an Ecto Cooler. Okay,
Yeah.
I like, give me a dedicated flavor to this IP. You know what I
Earn
mean?
that sponsorship.
Yeah,
Or like upside down Debbie cakes.
Yes. Well, we even had
like
in
that.
one of our very first Rogue Theory episodes, they released special Stranger Things season 3 Baskin-Robbins flavors that we sampled. There was like upside down pineapple cake or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of clever names.
I don't even
but-
mind if it's the same chip. Just make it look different, like the Demogorgon or something. Because I liked when like they had the Shrek ketchup at Burger King, and it was just green.
You think at the factories that like stretch where they're like, I make Doritos that are triangle shaped for years, and every once in a while I have to make it look like a transformer or something. Do you think that's an exciting time for them or a miserable
I
time?
think it's exciting. There's a creative team at Frito-Lay that spent months coming out with like
the
new
golden
designs,
ratio.
Yes.
new names, all that stuff, and it got shot down by the bigwigs in the C-suite because they were too afraid to upset the consumers of America.
But those engineers, they
But
got
they
the
worked on
design
it. They
and they
worked on
they
it.
developed and
I mean,
crushed the
think about
numbers.
it. Probably was engineers. Think about the shape of
Yeah.
a chip. It's triangle. It goes perfectly right into your mouth.
It doesn't. It cuts
And
the
it's a
sides.
crunch. The density is
It cuts
important.
the sides.
That's how you know there's a God, because
That's how
chips
you
are
know
triangle
there's a
shaped.
God.
Yeah.
They fit
Just like your
triangle.
throat.
Just
Yeah.
like your throat.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Perfect.
And speaking of throats,
Shave his head.
Now I feel like I have to. Let's, Brandon, can you throw a
Let's
couple of
go
those
through some
super
these
chats out
there. Jeff Borst asked this early on, and I don't know what it means. Anyone else think the Skrull are
Jaqen Hagar from Game of Thrones. He's the faceless
the man with no
man.
face?
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
No, I don't think it is.
No, shout out to Jaqen Hagar, who's currently on Stranger Things. He plays the Russian guard who befriends Hopper.
Myra Padron said, "Can we please have Coy every week? I love when he talks fast. Laughing my A off." I can't say what she was laughing off.
Trying to inspire the A off.
Yeah, I am impressed with your speed.
Yeah.
You got those ideas.
I was
out so
challenged.
fast.
I felt like,
mean,
I wanted to make sure the runtime hit. I got you.
Yeah,
I'm
that worm
exhausted.
turned
My
you
heart
into an
rate went up.
auctioneer.
I'm always at the ready. Just steal
tuned
my
him
cookie
out.
dough
I
pound.
don't
Did he speak? I'm not sure.
Max Savage, big fan of Epic Hero Shop, said, "Plan to buy the highest ground shirt so I can wear it to church and mess with the
Oh
people."
gosh.
I
I support
brother.
that, but also
Rock on.
I wouldn't do it.
Confront your religious leaders with the power of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You know what's great about it? Okay, so he's having the highest ground shirt, and it looks like stained glass, and has like Obi-Wan and like a Jesus pose. I guarantee that they're not gonna know it's not a Jesus shirt.
Well, there's the
That's
meme
the best
that goes
part?
around,
Yes,
right?
here,
With,
the
The grandma's
Obi-Wan.
house. Just put that
Oh, yeah,
picture
yeah,
in.
it's
Obi-Wan as Jesus, or
It's
Qui-Gon
this.
as Jesus.
But it has like
Yeah,
TIE
it's the same.
fighters
Oh,
in
this is
it.
amazing.
But you know that
The
like
TIE fighters are just angels.
Yeah.
Those are the Philistines coming to destroy us.
Oh, that's beautiful.
the TIE fighters watching over us. Like my grandfather.
Chrissy, our good friend Chrissy, she was commenting
That's a
on
great
that,
point.
The conversation we were having about the past coming back, our heroes from the past. She said, "We went from riding the fame of popular actors to bring in new fans to an existing fandom to now bringing back OG actors to appeal to the people who were kids then and now are adults and have the money."
So,
which
so
is so
it's like
true.
we
Which is
had
so
to
true.
we had to start over so that there would be new fans, and then they got those new fans, but then they lost the adult fans, so now the adult fans need the nostalgia.
Oh,
So
interesting.
your Tom Cruises, your Keanu Reeves, your Sigourney Weavers, there's like a wave of that 80s.
Yeah,
now that we're
it's like
to
how
get
they
us
had
back.
Matlock, right? Who was Andy Griffith, all grown up.
What's
Oh,
Matlock?
Matlock was the same actor from Andy Griffith.
Okay.
The Andy Griffith Show. That's how they brought him into the
Whoa,
next
this
generation.
is how we bring older viewers into the big room.
Yeah,
Bring
come
it,
on.
bring
Hey,
it.
you Matlock fans out there, I know you're in the chat.
Hey, you
Yeah.
Matlock.
Wake up, Matlock fans! Wake up!
They're
Oh,
like, they're
God.
about to go to
Welcome
bed.
one.
It's almost time for bed for
They're
the
eating,
Matlock
they're eating
fans.
dinner right now. Yeah.
They're watching MASH.
They're already in bed, frankly.
Mr. Krabs saying, "Me seeing John in Multiverse of Madness, quote, identity theft is not a joke, Jim." We all
Office
know you love
reference.
The Office.
Yeah.
It'll never die, unfortunately. S. Elizabeth wants us to pitch a what if episode. Parentheses, please. She did ask nicely.
Oh,
She
that's
did
very
ask
kind of
nicely.
you, S. Elizabeth. Whoa, that's a tall task to pitch.
How about it doesn't have to be Marvel?
Oh, what if anything? Oh, well, what if
I
anything?
like that.
Well, my big what if, this was what I wanted Disney to do when they did the live action Aladdin, okay? And I'm waiting for Marvel to do this too. I want some gender swapping going on. I wanted the live action Aladdin to be Jasmine was the street rat who comes across the genie, and Aladdin is the prince who lives in the castle or whatever. It's the story of Jasmine going from rags to riches. That's what I want.
Okay,
That's
well,
my what
that's
if.
so funny because inspired by the Pinocchio trailer we got earlier this week, I want a role reversal there.
I don't want
It's
it.
a little boy
I don't want
that
it.
builds an old man puppet.
Stop right.
Stop right there. I don't want that.
I want that so
that.
What if Pinocchio was the puppeteer?
I don't want that.
Jessica, you got it.
What if Jessica adopted 4 more cats? And then I just have more cats. This is to my roommate watching. Can I get more
What if
cats?
this episode happened and it already did, and this is how you're
And
finding
the
out?
Cats are in my office, and I bring them home by accident.
In the vein of Multiverse of Madness, what if when Xavier met Scarlet Witch, he remembered mutants, and that caused like a domino effect of mutants being activated in the MCU by way of her saying mutants instead of no more mutants, and that being a way to tie in the Fox universe into our universe, and then at the end, Deadpool is there because I need that.
My what if is what if Luke was the one that became Prince of Alderaan? Like he went with
Twins
Bill.
there.
Yeah.
Ooh, That's a
and
good one.
just like a bitchy diva.
Just
And
the
when
worst.
When Vader catches him on the ship, he'd be like, "Here's the plans. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's not as strong as Leia. Leia's got the guts."
He's just driving houses still.
Still like doing that laying down pose though.
Still looking into lightsabers.
Yeah, little bosomy for a stormtrooper, aren't you?
Wow, that's a good one. I would really enjoy seeing that. And hey, Disney owns all that crap now. You never know. And then we'll end on one more super chat. Just me saying, yes, Morbius is way better than any Bat Punk movie. I'm just, you know what? I just wanted to read that just to end on an incendiary note. People just trying to stir things up.
All of tomorrow's episode is going to be
Just insulting much more popular characters via Morbius. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for being here, especially Coy. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Are you allowed to plug your thing?
Oh yeah, so I just started a new show at the Real Rejects called Coy's Comic Corner. Literally the first episode is me doing a 20-minute dissertation on how I bring the Fantastic Four. The next one we haven't announced yet, but I'll do it here. It's how I bring in Wolverine into the greater MCU. And it's not how you'd think. And I also have a podcast called Coycast. I also have my own YouTube channel that I don't use nearly enough, and I'm really trying to get into TikTok. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok's hard. I'm old. But that's where I'm at mostly because it's apparently the most relevant.
Not to build an audience or anything, but
Yeah, it's just like this is all I have. Is
yeah,
TikTok.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Thank you guys. That was
Thank you
really
so
cool
much
to
for
be here.
coming. Yeah,
appreciate it.
and thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Fridays get weird on the break room.
Fridays
okay?
do get weird.
Sometimes there's alcohol involved. Often, I mean, if you thought like our snack discussion was wide ranging, just imagine how many tapeworms we're going to talk about
And
tomorrow.
The Boys comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, the Boys Underground will be back tomorrow.
We'll be
watch,
talking-
watch Three Boys tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, real quick shout out to the real Breakroom fans who have seen enough episodes of the show to understand why I was not allowed to eat a single one of these snacks.
No
I
eating
sat
on
here
camera.
the entire time.
We're gonna get into these snacks off camera. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow and in the future.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.